Hello, I'm Joe Ford, Professor at ANU Law School. I'm certainly not Leonardo DiCaprio, the famous actor, but his blockbuster film Blood Diamond, have you seen it, relates closely to this course's content. How do we govern how business activities affect human rights? In the film I refer to, diamonds that we find in fancy shops from Hong Kong to London may have been mined at gunpoint in a civil war context. So I'll return to Leonardo DiCaprio in a minute. But what is the role of law in this sort of scenario? Human rights is a familiar subject at law schools and in society in discussion. But traditionally, we mean how human rights protections and remedies apply as between people and their government, the state. This course is different. What does it cover? We look at how the private sector, not the state, business and investors impact human rights. From child labor in global chocolate supply chains to private companies running offshore detention centers to issues of bias in algorithms of AI, artificial intelligence platforms. What's the responsibility of business actors for human rights protection and remedy? What's the responsibility of states for the activities of business actors? Where do we find the norms and standards that govern these issues, and do these standards work? Meanwhile, the course also asks what role there is for law in shaping socially responsible business conduct. Corporate social responsibility is something we hear a lot of lately. Environmental impact, carbon footprint, gender equity, and so on. But most of the history of this trend of corporate responsibility is about voluntary, ethics-based self-regulation. But what's the role for mandatory, law-based state regulation? And what's the scope for a smart mix of strategies? After all, a big pension fund might have more regulatory impact than a small government. So I convened this course. I started it in 2016 as a fully online course, long before COVID took our courses online. It combines a mix of activities. It's designed for flexible modes of study. At the heart of this course is a weekly discussion forum, which you contribute to in your own time during the week, and we interact with each other that way. I curate this discussion. It's an excellent way to learn and to debate. Debate's never far from the surface in any topic dealing with human rights. So, a bit about me. Talking as we are of the intersection between business, human rights, and peace and conflict, I grew up in a country that was colonized not by the British government, but by a private corporation listed on the London Stock Exchange. So, your first task is to figure out where this country is. Hint, Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Blood Diamond. I hope to see you in the course.